People related to a psychopath. What is your craziest story? My sister Blake had this weird obsession with dead things from the time she could walk. While other kids played with dolls, she'd collect dead beetles and keep them in little boxes under her bed. Mom thought it was just a phase. Dad called it curiosity. But I knew Blake was different from everyone else. When we were 8 and 10, I found her in our backyard with a dead bird. She had it laid out on a piece of cardboard and was poking at it with a stick. Not just random poking, though. She was being super careful, almost like she was performing surgery. When I asked what she was doing, she looked up at me with those blank eyes and said she wanted to see what was inside. That's when the neighborhood pets started disappearing. First it was Mrs. Garcia's cat Whiskers, then the Johnsons' rabbit. Blake would always be the first one to help look for them, acting all concerned and helpful. She even made missing pet flyers on our computer, but I noticed she never seemed actually worried like everyone else. One night I couldn't sleep and went to get some water. I saw Blake sneaking out through the back door with a flashlight and a small shovel. I followed her to the woods behind our house. She walked straight to this clearing like she'd been there a million times before. That's when I saw the small mounds of dirt, at least 6 of them, all perfectly arranged in a circle. She started digging up one of the mounds and pulled out a plastic bag. Inside was what was left of Whiskers. Blake opened the bag and started examining the bones with her flashlight. She was talking to herself quietly, saying things like, "The ribs connect here," and "This bone goes to the leg," like she was studying for a test. I was so freaked out I ran home and hid under my covers. The next morning, Blake acted totally normal. Made herself cereal, brushed her teeth, watched cartoons, like nothing happened. I wanted to tell Mom and Dad, but I knew they wouldn't believe me. Blake was their little angel who got straight A's and never got in trouble. By the time we were in high school, Blake had decided she wanted to be a veterinarian. Everyone was so proud of her. She volunteered at the animal shelter and got perfect grades in biology. The teachers loved her because she was so dedicated to learning about anatomy. But I knew the real reason she was interested. During her senior year, Blake started dating this guy Alex from her anatomy class. He was actually pretty cool and seemed to really like her. For a while I thought maybe Blake was becoming normal. She even seemed happy for the first time ever. Alex would come over for dinner and Blake would laugh at his jokes and hold his hand. She almost seemed like a regular person. Then one day Alex didn't show up to school, or the next day, or the day after that. His parents called the police and filed a missing person report. The whole town was looking for him. Blake joined the search parties and posted about him on social media. She cried at school when teachers asked if she'd heard anything. She was the perfect, concerned girlfriend. But I knew better. I started watching Blake more carefully. She was acting too perfect, too concerned, too helpful. One night I followed her again to her spot in the woods. The circle of mounds had grown. There were maybe 12 or 13 now, and they were bigger than before. I waited until she left and then I started digging. What I found made me throw up right there in the dirt. It wasn't just animals anymore. At the bottom of the newest mound was Alex's class ring, the one he never took off, the one with his initials carved on the side. I ran home and immediately called the police. I told them everything, about the pet cemetery, about Blake's obsession, about finding Alex's ring. They thought I was crazy at first, but I begged them to just check the woods. When they found the mounds and started digging, everything changed. Blake was arrested the next morning. She didn't deny anything. She didn't even seem upset. When they asked her why, she just shrugged and said she wanted to understand how things worked, like it was the most normal thing in the world. During the trial, they found out Blake had been killing animals for years. She'd graduated to Alex when she wanted to see if humans were different inside. She got life in prison. I haven't seen her since the sentencing 3 years ago.